An economy based on wind. I never understood wind.
That was President Donald Trump saying something we already know in another shot at the war on windmills. Now, kidding aside, of course, this is the president again attacking clean energy, especially windmills, which he seems to have an extra special hatred for, just like water efficiency, toilets, and dishwashers, as well as non incandescent light bulbs. So he really hates all this energy efficiency stuff, and also generating energy from the wind, which literally blows whether or not we generate energy from it or not. So I guess it would kind of make sense that since it's there, we should get energy from it. Makes sense. But now this was during a rambling speech, and I say rambling because again, you're gonna hear some of this verbal diarrhea during his speech to Turning Point USA. So, in fact, let me give you a little bit more context into what he says, and well, just listen.
An economy based on wind. I never understood wind. I know windmills very much. I've studied it better than anybody. I know it's very expensive. They're made in China and Germany mostly. Very few made here, almost none. But they're manufactured tremendous, if you're into this, tremendous fumes, gases are spewing into the atmosphere. We have a world, right? So the world is tiny compared to the universe. So tremendous amount of fumes and everything. You talk about the carbon footprint. Fumes are spewing into the air, right? Spewing. Whether it's in China, Germany, it's going into the air. It's our air, their air, everything, right?
What? It's spewing. It's a fumes spewing everywhere. Did you know that the world is very small and the universe is very big? Very, very, very big. Did you know that water is also very wet? The wettest from the standpoint of water. Ocean water. A big water. Ocean water. Wow. Just wow. Again, verbal diarrhea. Nonsense. Utter nonsense. And he tries to slip in like every single thing, every single bad talking point that is heard about windmills, because he doesn't actually know what he's talking about. I know windmills very much, better than anybody. I've studied it better than anybody. Are you sure? Are you sure? I mean, if you did actually study windmills, you would know that it's actually cheaper to produce energy from windmills than it is coal. And that in reality, alternative energy, which includes wind and solar, geothermal, etc., actually provides more jobs to Americans than coal does. For example, let me give you some numbers here. According to Forbes, I know that liberal rag Forbes, only 111,000 people work in the wind industry. Disaster, right? Compare that to coal and other fossil fuel extraction. They employ around 211,000 people. Oh, see, the 211,000 is bigger than 111,000. Yeah, but that's just in the wind industry compared to all fossil fuel extraction. Meaning there are more people in alternative energy. And by the way, it is a growing sector of the economy than there is in fossil fuels, which are a stagnant and actually shrinking sector of the economy as alternative energy actually gets cheaper and more efficient. Whereas, of course, it's only going to get more expensive to mine coal. It's only going to get more expensive to map out oil deposits and to do fracking, right? And by the way, fracking causes a lot of problem. I hear it causes a lot of problem. No, it actually does cause a lot of problems. More earthquakes, for example, in places where there generally are not earthquakes. And there are issues with contamination of groundwater when it comes to fracking, as well as methane release. Methane's about, several times more potent in the atmosphere, even though it lasts, it generally doesn't last as long in the atmosphere as carbon, but it is far more of a potent gas, a greenhouse gas. And so that's a big problem. Okay. But Trump, again, doesn't understand any of this because he knows nothing. He knows nothing about this. As far as coal is going, look, coal, Donald Trump he's a simpleton. He's an idiot, right? And so he thinks Trump dukes coal. And so that's his tagline. I'm going to save the coal industry. No, you're not. Nobody's going to be able to save the coal industry. They attempted, he and Rick Perry attempted to prop up the coal industry by the government. By the way, conservatives, are you not angry about that? Here you go. You got the government coming in, picking winners and losers, trying to get their hand into the business, in this case, propping up unprofitable industry, but in this case, it's the coal industry. Why are you not mad about that? Why are you not ideologically consistent when it comes to conservatism? I often wonder that. Now, look, a lot of the people that are working in the coal industry, they deserve to have good jobs. They do. They do. The biggest mistake you can make is going into coal country and telling people you're going to shut down coal. No, that's stupid. What you do is you go into coal country, like Bernie Sanders has, and you go in and say, hey, look, we know that you depend on these high-paying jobs, these coal jobs. What we're going to do is we're going to get you better jobs. We're going to train you. We're going to transfer you. And we're going to make special exceptions for you to transfer you out of a dying industry that is, by the way, killing you at the same time. And we're going to make sure that you have a high-paying job in a future industry, in the industry that is already growing faster than coal. And that is, of course, alternative energy. You have solar panels, the solar industry, despite Donald Trump's tariffs, by the way, on solar panels, still expected to grow and expected to get even better and to be put on more homes and businesses. Yes, and also manufacturing is supposed to increase as well and continue to be a growing field. And yes, that means jobs here at home. And so, whereas coal, of course, continues to hemorrhage jobs. Whereas coal mine owners, by the way, these are the people that donate most to Donald Trump, by the way, in the coal industry, and that's who Donald Trump looks out for. They continue to close coal mines and cash out, leaving the workers there to suffer, and sometimes suffer without health insurance and without pensions, retirements, etc. So Donald Trump's not helping the average coal miner. No, he's helping the coal baron, essentially. So now, again, going back to Trump here, as I said, market forces are killing coal, but Trump, he's not very intellectually curious, and so that's why he doesn't know any of this. He just sounds like, the world is so tiny compared to the universe. What did you just like? Did you get high before coming on stage? I know there's another clip of him just completely like, I don't want to use the wrong word here, but it looked like he had a glitch. And I wish I had the video, pulled the video of that, where he just was in the middle of saying something and then couldn't even get out the word and then completely switched. It's like he even had some weird jerking body movement. And so it was like, what just happened? A lot of people made the joke of, oh, it's just the Adderall kicking in. I don't know. But all I do know is that the guy's completely incoherent, doesn't understand a damn thing what he's talking about. Now, if you're worried, by the way, speaking of some of the stuff that he had been talking about, fumes from windmills. Well, just wait till you learn about how they mine and extract natural gas, mine coal and extract natural gas. And then there's lots of fumes there. And then how they get to the coal, well, they blow up mountains. Literally mountaintop removal. They blow up mountains to get at the coal. Not to mention the fumes when you burn the coal. Now, I've got one more thing here that he talks about, and he addresses the birds. So he's very, very concerned about the birds.
They're noisy. They kill the birds. You want to see a bird graveyard? You just go. Take a look. A bird graveyard? Go under a windmill someday. You'll see more birds than you've ever seen ever in your life.
Won't somebody please think of the birds? Somebody. He also said that the windmill will kill bald eagles. After a certain number, they make you turn the windmill off. That is true. No, it's not. It's not true at all. By the way, make you turn it off, and yet if you killed one, they put you in jail. That is okay. But why is it okay for windmills to destroy the bird population? Cats kill more birds than outdoor cats, I should say, kill more birds than windmills do. They're more dangerous to the bird population. Look, I have 2 cats. You know what? They're indoor cats for, among many reasons, so they don't terrorize and destroy the bird population. But now here's the other thing about that argument that I always find interesting. Do you think the pollution from coal plants is also good for birds? I mean, we know it's pretty terrible for humans. People living and working near coal plants have increased rates of asthma and other lung issues. So I don't know. I can't really imagine the birds faring any better in that same condition. So now, as far as bald eagles go, PolitiFact found that Trump has, of course, inflated the figures of bald eagles getting killed by wind turbines because he can't help himself. Now, there's a lot of different reaction to this, obviously, but I think Vox's David Roberts actually made the best point on Twitter, and so let's get to that. He said, quote, "The fun part will be reading media reports of the speech, which will reconstruct Trump's lurching, moronic, disconnected word strings into some kind of coherent point about wind power." You see, it's not bad enough that Donald Trump's a complete moron. We know that already. What's bad is that there are still media outlets out there that, and look, it's mainly Fox News, right? That will do exactly what Robert says. Oh, Donald Trump, perfect point about windmills. They're killing birds. They kill birds. That's why coal is so much better, because coal hasn't killed anyone. Right. And look, for like CNN or something, windmills killed birds, Trump says, without giving context. I mean, it's ridiculous. That might actually be more dangerous than the president, who, by the way, the president sets policy, right? And spreads ignorant garbage. And he has done a lot of damage, by the way. But what could be more dangerous is a media that seems to go along with it and doesn't, I don't know, call it the way it is, and actively stands for the president, as Fox News does, and it encourages this sort of, just this dangerous environmental denialism and hatred towards cleaner sources of energy, renewable energy. And so it's sort of, in a way, in a large amount of people who watch this news, so-called news, is that it manufactures consent towards destroying the environment, essentially, all in the name of course, profit. And when you look at it that way, it's a lot more of a systemic problem than just an idiot president on stage spouting just complete and utter nonsense. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a patreon.com/TYTNation set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.